there. What are we doing in studio on a Wednesday? Have you gotten used to it yet? Good morning to you. Yes, sometimes we're at home, sometimes we're at businesses, but every other Wednesday, we started this about a month ago, we're coming in to do a Wellness Wednesday with you. And we're going to talk about natural beauty and enhancing that, right? The best version of yourself. And then what is it you want to do with it? Is it mental, physical, spiritual? Today I want to talk about the body aspect, but I'm excited for some breaking news for you about something that's going to pull all of those things together in December. And we'll get to that right after our news that you can use. So welcome in. For those of you that are brand new to the show, always let us know if someone has guided you to the show. Did you come across it just naturally? Sometimes I believe those are little God winks where you need it for the day. Maybe you've been up all night tossing and turning, you couldn't sleep, and all of a sudden you're scrolling on social media and you come across some positivity, which is something that you absolutely need to change the course of that morning. Or maybe late night third shifters trying to get to bed. Maybe this will calm you and bring you in a better state of mind. That's what we're here for. For this last year and a half, that's what we've been doing here on The Real Monica Adams Show. So welcome on. I'm going to look at your comments. I'll say good morning to all of you, just kind of a brush stroke. Good morning, good morning, good morning to everybody that's on. Hannah is at home moderating for you. We're going to see Michelle. She's back from Italy and New Hampshire, and she's actually going to tell her firsthand experience about something that she did with Elemental Aesthetics, and the owner, Jennifer Warmann-Bloss, will come on with us. We'll talk about Agnes. Who's Agnes? Agnes isn't coming in, but there's a procedure and a treatment called Agnes that we're going to talk about, as well as a ViPeel. Do you have to be in a VIP program for this? We'll talk about all of that coming up after we do the news. Let's first start off, though, with our weather. And again, we've had this incredible stretch of just beautiful weather. A lot of you parents and aunts and uncles and grandparents are going to take the little ghouls and goblins out on Halloween. Have been waiting to see if there's a shifting pattern into next Thursday. Doesn't look like it yet. It is starting to trend a little cooler, though. Today, not bad at all. Look at that. 74 for our high, partly sunny skies. 46 for the low. Thursday, 73. By the way, let me go back to yesterday. We hit 84. 84 yesterday, just 2 degrees shy of a record. 60 for the low tomorrow night, so still warm as you wake up Friday morning. And then we do have that rain. Did you catch it yesterday? We were sitting here having a meeting in Brentwood, and then boom, it just poured yesterday, which I was like, oh, what's that? We haven't seen that in a while. 40% chance of morning rain on Friday with a high almost tipping near 80. 48, though, for the low. It's going to be chilly this weekend in the evenings. 67 on Saturday, 68 on Sunday. And then look at the stretch for next week, Monday, Tuesday, all the way through Friday, in the mid to upper 70s, then down into the lower 70s as we get into the following weekend. But look at Halloween. 30% chance of rain. That was only 10, and then 20. Now a little bit more of a chance of rain and a little chillier. I told you the European models were trending more in the 50s, the U.S. models showing more in the 70s. We'll check in with our aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore when we come into Friday and see if things have changed by that point. All right, it is 7:04. Let's get into some news you can use. And we're going to start off this morning with a vote, a very popular story that many are clicking on as to what this will come out to be by maybe later tonight. Will we have an answer on the vote that's going to take place with Boeing? Hopefully by later this evening, because it is on tap from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. today. In fact, more than 32,000 striking machinists will start their voting. It's a new contract proposal. Results of the labor vote are expected tonight. Analysts are cautiously optimistic that the new proposal, which requires a simple majority of the vote, could pass, putting an end to the more than 5-week work stoppage that has halted most of the company's production of airplanes and added to its cash burn of about $8 billion in the first half of the year. Boeing last posted an annual profit in 2018, and right here in our St. Louis area, we have 17,000 Boeing employees. So again, a story that we will all be keeping an eye to, and I'll bring you the update on that tomorrow morning. All right, would you take a flying air taxi? This could be a real thing, folks. Yes, a flying air taxis. Okay, this is what we're talking about here in 2024. Reminds me of the Jetsons. It is moving closer to the U.S. takeoff with the issuing of the FAA rule. Federal regulators giving a strong push to electric-powered air taxis yesterday by issuing a final rule for operating the aircraft and how pilots will actually be trained to fly them. Look at those on the screen right there. They're really cool looking. The head of the the FAA said that the rule recognizes that air taxis as an entirely new type of aircraft that will soon join airplanes and helicopters in the sky. Powered lift aircraft, the new first category of aircraft in nearly 80 years since the dawn of helicopters. And actually, they will take off and land vertically like helicopters, but fly like fixed wing planes. This is really super cool. And although it seems like it's so futuristic, this could be right around the corner. A lot of people, this is a trending story, talking today about what's happening with McDonald's and what's going to be taken off of the menu until they can figure out where this is actually coming from. An E. coli outbreak, and it's linked to McDonald's Quarter Pounders. But the ingredient itself is what they're trying to figure out. Is it in the beef or is it in the onions? So this is affecting many states, including right here in Missouri. Most people in this outbreak are reporting eating the Quarter Pounder hamburger at McDonald's before they became sick. Not yet known, again, which specific food ingredient. One person has died from this, and about 4 dozen people have come forward and are sick with this. Fresh slivered onions, primarily used on Quarter Pounder hamburgers, not other menu items, mainly in Colorado and Nebraska, but as I mentioned, also right here in Missouri. All right, parents, listen up. St. Louis Zoo, Children's Zoo to be exact. This is so cool, these renderings we're going to get a chance to show you from not just one thing, but also another tied to the St. Louis Zoo that's up in North County. So construction is ongoing for the new St. Louis Children's Zoo to open in 2026. It's underway at the Henry Jubal Foundation Destination Discovery within the zoo, located at the former Emerson Children's Zoo area. A new animated fly-through rendering video is giving us a glimpse of the experiences, and we took some of that in these still photos for you within Destination Discovery. Just look at these. Doesn't this look cool? I wish I had kids for this. I'm just going to take your kids to this if I can. I'll be Aunt Monica to all of them. The latest experience was announced in May of 2023. The groundbreaking was held this August, and again, slated to open in 2026. So families, you're going to be able to explore underground tunnels, walk through an aviary to feed the birds, have water play, and those fan favorites, the prairie dogs, the otters, they're going to remain, but they have new additions, including baby doll sheep. And look at this, Tasmanian devils from Australia. The otter display expands as well, and families will be able to explore these tunnels with fan favorites continuing. And again, everybody's just saying that they wish this was here already. It's not coming again until 2026. Also, though, there's something happening in North County on 425 acres. The work continuing on something that you probably heard about in the news a while back, but hasn't been discussed in a while. So here's an update for you. A world-class safari park and conservation center is set to open in 2027. And again, 425 acres near the confluence of the Mississippi and the Missouri rivers. Thanks to the donors, the supporters, and the taxpayers of St. Louis County, the zoo's building a destination where guests can connect to wildlife in new ways, alongside a conservation center dedicated to supporting some of the most endangered species in the world. And for the public opening, the focus is on endangered, like hoofed mammals, such as the zebra. They also have the Somali wild ass, giraffes, and white rhino, as well as kangaroos, birds, and other threatened species. My staff just wanted me to say that for you. Somali wild ass. All right, well, let's get into some sports news. And this is a first ever and maybe first only father-son duo making their debut last night on the hardwood. Did you see it? LeBron and Bronny James. And one of the things that they said was so cool, in fact, I heard a soundbite from LeBron, and he said, I don't care how old I get, or even when my mind might still be just okay, I'll never forget the moment when I'm able to check in at the table and go in with my son, checking into the game. The LA Lakers, look at that. Bronny James and LeBron James, what a cool duo. Now, they're saying, could it ever happen again? It's unlikely for the longevity of a player and then having a son be able to come up and be to the level as Bronny is. But who knows? Never say never. But congratulations to LeBron and Bronny last night. All right, let's talk about our St. Louis Blues. Unfortunately, not pulling out a win last night. They did come back, though. A lot of you that were watching the game might be like, I'm turning this one off. They did come back, but they didn't have enough steam. 3-2, they lost to Winnipeg. And so now the Blues are starting a road trip They are going to kick that one off for the next 4 games, actually. The Blues will be taking on Toronto tomorrow night. And a sad story in the world of baseball. Fernando Valenzuela, Dodgers pitcher, who enthralled fans. He died at the age of only 63. You remember him? He won the Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young Awards back in 1981 when Fernando Mania made him a household name and filled ballparks. Now, his family is not saying, what he had been suffering with, but my director, Zach, was looking it up and said for the last couple of weeks he had been in the hospital, and they are not disclosing what health conditions he had. But we'll continue to follow that, and as we get more information, we'll pass it along to you. All right, it's 7:12. There you go. You're up to date on news. You can use some trending stories with regards to LeBron and Bronny. Sports news, if you want to look into any of those deeper, do so. Before we take our break, again, breaking news for you. About 12 minutes ago on our website, we put the tickets up for you to purchase now to go to Yenology. In December, I told you that we were going to hold a workshop. It's called Feel the Authenticity, and there it is on your screen. We're going to help you become the best version of yourself. As you go through Thanksgiving and you get into Christmas, it can be a hard time of year. It can be an emotional time of year. It can be a year where you get together with family you haven't seen from the year before, and some drinks get underway. I hear this all the time, and people get in arguments. I want you to be in a better state as you go into the Christmas and the New Year's holiday. So we're going to do everything to find the best version of you as you pull off the mask, take off the filters, and show your real self. First time maybe ever, but it's time for you to do so. Then you go into New Year's resolutions and you're in a better state of mind. So it's a 2-hour workshop. You're going to have some light appetizers, some drinks will be there. We're talking about maybe a little goodie bag that we might have for you. If you haven't been to Yenology yet, by the way, you're missing out. They're at 903 South Lindbergh, Suite 110 in Frontenac. And again, it'll be December 8th, 1 to 3 p.m. Tickets on sale right now. Now, you get the opportunity to purchase first. Only 25 tickets. Very limited space for this. And before we go and put it out on social media and out to the public and out to emails galore, you get the opportunity because you're watching right now. I also sent a text off to my clients that wanted to know immediately. So, all right, you've been warned. You've got to get these tickets because 25, we cannot open it up to more than 25 because of space. Would love to see you there and spend the holiday season with you in person. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, staying with that, by the way, that mindset of take off the filters, be your best self. How do we get to that? We're going to talk about Agnes, a ViPeel, and maybe some other treatments that you can do to naturally beautify your authentic self. We're going to talk with Michelle Harman and Jennifer Warmann-Bloss. They will both be in my blue chairs when we return.
One of our things we always say is we want everybody to leave with a smile.
Oh, and trust me, they do. I've seen a lot of smiles here today. There's so many levels of why you will love these ladies, but giving back to the community, supporting the community, collaborating with other businesses.
Base pace. Now we give parameters here. Power walkers generally use incline. Yeah, I know.
Go, girls, go!
Because you're not only getting some great local roasted coffee, you're getting good people.
Good people is what it's about. And by the way, that person who turned up their nose, karma is that you know what.
Everyone needs to be kind. And it starts really with the adults. And then it goes down because we're the ones that are instilling this in our children, in our families, and everything thereafter.
We are live on location. And this is the really cool thing. This is exactly what we can do from your business. We call it Mobile Monica. You know, I'm always on the move. Welcome back, 7:15, and time for us to kick off the segment portion of our show. Again, we're talking about Wellness Wednesday. And before we do that, I saw Marilyn just asked a comment. Sorry if you missed it on the screen, but it is December 8th for the Feel the Authenticity workshop. It is 1 to 3 p.m., and it'll be $50. Again, food, drinks, and an incredible workshop. We actually said that's a heck of a deal. We almost went higher with that, but you know what? That's my gift to you as you head into the holidays and into next year. So there you go. Marilyn, go get your tickets. Tell your friends and family. We would love to see you there. All right, good morning to all of you. Thanks for tuning in. I mentioned that Jennifer Warmann-Bloss from Elemental Aesthetics would be joining us, but so is Michelle, freshly back from Italy and New Hampshire. So welcome, ladies.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Very good.
Happy
Somebody
to
just
be
asked
back.
you how the food was.
So the food was fantastic. Olives, cheese, bread, gelato. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Lots of anchovies, salted meats. I mean, just the pizza. You know, you had that like real crusty, pizza, fresh,
Fresh.
the fresh
Everything.
dough.
Right.
Everything's fresh.
And that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing. And I'm looking forward. I've got a business trip to Italy in 3 weeks, and I'm looking forward to everything I've ever heard, which
I
is
love it.
no, trust me, you're going to eat the bread, even though I don't hear. You'll eat the bread and you won't feel bloated. And all the preservatives that we have here in the United States do not exist there in Europe. So, and a lot of walking she did, almost
A lot of-
20,000 steps.
Gosh, yeah,
Yeah.
Lots
That helped
of,
you lose weight, too.
Lots of steps,
Exactly.
Woo, and like literal steps and climbing too.
Well, welcome back. We're glad to
Thank you.
have you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mom. I saw Mom just tuned in. Hi, Mama Jackie.
Hi, Mama Jackie.
Yes, I'm sure she's happy to see you back. She'll say hi to you. So, for those of you that are tuning in and you haven't seen Jennifer yet, Elemental Aesthetics, again, is what we've been talking about. She came on with us, about a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she's been an esthetician since 2001, but opened up this beautiful place that we've been talking about in Creve Coeur. So many different services. And a lot of you that have been already, you saw she was on with us on Monday and gave you a shout out and said that she came and she sent me a text and said that she did the IPL. She's like, I want to let you know I survived. I said, okay. She's like, I know you're being a baby about it, Monica. I'm like, I'm not. I just don't do these things. And okay, fine. So I said, did it feel like a rubber band? And she goes, no. She said, it's more that all of a sudden the light kind of might startle you.
Yes.
You agree with that?
I do agree with that.
Okay.
Yes.
So she said, not the rubber band that some people describe.
It feels like heat, like a flash of heat.
Okay.
And but yes, the light is very annoying. Your eyes are covered, but I mean, you're mostly
You can sense
water.
it?
You're water in there, so you still reflect that light, and you can still see the flash. And yes,
Does it
that
make a
is
noise?
startling.
That's my other thing. Like, does it sound like it's
It makes a
sizzling
noise.
your face?
Oh no,
I'm just kidding.
The cool peel does a little
that
bit.
see,
Yeah.
there are those.
There's
Okay, I
a
can't
little
do the
noise
cool
with the IPL, but
There's a
it's-
little noise. By the way, for
noise.
those that don't know, can
Not
you?
on your skin though. It's
No,
more the machine goes.
the machine. Yeah, the
Oh,
machine.
but it's not like the sizzling thing
No,
that I.
nothing like
Which
that.
I
No,
don't
no.
think I would ever want. And some people
No.
do it. And one of our friends, Tiffany, was like, I love that thing. I'm like, okay. Yeah, and that's really important, right, Jennifer? As you have people come in, you're finding what is best for them, which is what happened with Michelle, which we'll talk about in just a second.
Right.
But we just mentioned IPL, and there are some people who are like, what the heck is an IPL? We can tell them that's because they may
Sure.
not have heard of it.
So it is. It's actually stands for intense pulse light, and it works on, like for Sindra, we were working on broken capillaries.
Okay.
So she has just some genetic broken capillaries on her cheeks and across her nose, and I was like, you don't have to live with those. And she's like, amazing. Let's fix that then. And so that's what we started to work on yesterday. And she'll take a few times to
That's
get
what she was saying.
to get where she wants to be. It will also help lift discoloration or age spots or pigment, but it also, you get a little tightening, you just kind of brighten up, and you just like feel better in your skin afterwards. And at this time of year when people are getting out of the sun and things are starting to show up on their face, this is actually a really good time to do an IPL or the VI peel, like what Michelle did, and kind of have a nice long period of time where you're very clear and bright and ready for the holidays and all of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the perfect time for that. And if you've all been thinking about it, don't wait on it anymore. Pull the trigger, because you probably get really busy around this time of the year, and maybe even harder to get people in.
We do start to pick up a little bit more right now.
Okay, so let's put up on the screen for you, for yourself, or I know a lot of you are thinking, what are the great gift certificates, things that I can get? They wouldn't have to pick one. They would just get an amount, right? And then that person could use it towards something?
Absolutely.
Okay, so elementalasthetics.com, and located at 425 North New Ballas Road in Creve Coeur, Suite 206, by the way. You can call 314-279-6069. Okay, Rose just asked a question before we continue on and tell the testimonial firsthand from Michelle about Agnes and the ViPeel. Rose says, Jennifer, spider veins, ? So ugly. Is it an easy fix?
It is, actually. It is. And we can do both the little tiny veins on the legs, or we can do the veins on the face as well.
Okay. So we're going to talk today, by the way, not just face. One of the reasons that we really connected with Jennifer is you're very big on taking the person, first of all, taking their own natural beauty and enhancing what they want, not taking them so far from the version that they are where they become unrecognizable.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, our whole goal is, I always say we want you to look younger but still like you.
Yes.
So, like, how do we turn that clock back for you based on the issues that you have? We're very consultative, and that's really one of the secrets.
And is that exactly what took place, not only with Michelle, but with Cindra? I know Anne has shouted out saying that she's been to you, that they don't come into you knowing what they're going to do, and you like this.
So it's so funny.
So that's what happened to her, right?
My regular clients, even, they're always like, when people say, what do I do with Jennifer? They say, I don't know. I lay down and she tells me what I need.
Trust.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to fix something that you don't want fixed. The goal is to, and even with Michelle, what happened is she came in for a facial and I said, what's bothering you? And she said this, this, and this. And so then I was like, okay, well, these are some of the solutions for those things that are bothering you. And she surprised me because I was like, okay, we're going to do a facial today. She's like, no, let's do them today.
She said, Jennifer, by the way, if you're just tuning in, Jennifer Warmann-Bloss. Jennifer sent me a message and she goes, okay, Michelle just cracked me up and said, I'm all in. Let's just do this.
Do it.
Because you're already there laying down, right? And it's hard
well, and the timing was good for her to have downtime if she was going to have downtime. So it just worked
The boys
out.
were gone for the weekend, so I was able to molt in peace and in privacy.
Yes.
Somebody just said, Michelle, you cut your hair. Yes, you did. And they said they liked it. So
Yeah, it's been a few months now.
If you have any questions about what we're getting ready to talk about, or anything that, as Jennifer just said, has bothered you, because literally that's what it's about. If you every day are looking at yourself in the mirror, and one of the things I hate that you all do to yourself is pull yourself down in self-hate instead of self-love, this is where she can step in and say, okay, well, you don't have to have that routine every morning where you are like, ugh, I wish we could switch and change this.
Sure.
You can.
And it's amazing what we can do now, too. So let me just start with an example with Michelle. So Michelle came in and her couple of complaints were some things with jowls and also some things with discoloration. Now, Michelle has what I think is a little bit of what's called melasma, which is a type of discoloration that comes from hormones. It comes from hormone changes. Sometimes when people have babies, they get it. Sometimes it's related to the liver, which is interesting from a health perspective.
Absolutely.
Not that anything's broken with your liver, but if it's just off,
my liver works overtime, so
if it's just a little
wouldn't be
bit
surprised.
off,
It's fueled by red wine.
it can cause this type of discoloration.
Of course.
So we talked about IPL a second ago, which we use IPL for discoloration. We use Cool Peel for discoloration. We also have ViPeel for discoloration. For melasma, heat sometimes causes more pigment. So for her, we did not want to put the heat of the Cool Peel or the IPL on her. We wanted to use a method that would be better for the type of pigment that she has. And so again, that's why it's important that we have a variety of options. And so for her, we did the ViPeel, which is very oriented around discoloration. She did have to peel, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
literally peel.
Like immediate or?
It
No,
takes a couple of days.
It was it was a few days, and then there was like a little bit of flaking, and then it was every day. It was just sloughing off,
Yes.
and the new skin was revealing itself. It
So
was
we have
amazing.
some pictures I'm going to show, by the way, of Michelle before and after. She took these for us. She sent them to me, and she's like, I don't know that I see a difference. I'm going to keep it up on the screen for a second. I absolutely do. So there's more of a glow. What did you say, Jennifer, that when she walked in that you could see difference in her?
So for her, what I can see is if you look especially on like the left cheek, there's this patchiness.
Yep.
On the left and right, and it's just a little bit more even. Now, she might have gotten a little bit of color while she was in Italy also.
I did. I was wearing sunscreen, but it was kind of inevitable
So it's a
to
little
be
bit
out in the
hard
sun.
to do a full side-by-side, but even in the forehead, you can see you're more even in the little bit of color.
I do see that, now that you're saying that.
That's what I
Right.
saw when you sent these texts to me.
So
and then we've got another.
and you're a little more tight, like you're a little smoother.
Yes.
You know, especially like around the eyebrow area and then, you know, across the cheeks. And I also can see a little bit of the Agnes kicking in already on your face in this picture as well.
So if you're just tuning in, again, we're looking at a side-by-side of a before and after. Sometimes it's hard for us to see it in ourselves, right? You're looking for this drastic change that I guess that you're
Me
looking
being
for.
real, people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now this one is very more distinct. You
I
can
agree.
see that modeling on the side, the modeling of discoloration on the left picture. And on the right, you see how it's kind of broken up a little bit. Again, even though you know, having the sun is kind of making it a little bit harder for us to capture it fully.
Right.
But
Right.
it's okay. It looks, the sun that you got looks more even than what you had prior to that.
Agreed. And that's what, so she said, I don't know if I see a big difference. And so she was saying, I don't know if you want to show them. And I was like, oh, I absolutely do. Because see, I do. We do, being on the outside. So this is, again, after her doing the ViPeel and Agnes.
Correct.
So if you're just tuning in, we'll come back here on screen. I'm going to reintroduce Jennifer Warmann-Bloss, the owner of Elemental Aesthetics. And Michelle recently went to her for those two treatments. Now, I'm just going to start with this. Why Agnes? Where does this name come from?
It's funny, the company that created it does a lot of things, but it was originally designed for acne, and I think they tied the word Agnes to acne. That was its original purpose, but then they found it could do a lot more things. So Agnes is a machine that does, it's actually radio frequency microneedling, which there's a million devices that do that, but this one is very powerful. It's got a lot of heat and energy, and it allows us to do a whole bunch of things. So for Michelle, we were working on specifically on jowls, like little parts of her face that kind of hang
We
down.
have that video?
Oh yeah, do you have video? Do you have the video?
I don't know. Zach, do we have the video of the Agnes treatment?
being
Because
done on me?
I did a bunch of it on.
Say again? He does not have a video. Okay.
Okay.
So, from the jowl standpoint, it's physics, folks, right? It's physics. This is what happens to the body. As you age, the body drops in many ways. And so, if that's something that you're seeing, or maybe right now all of you are going in and looking in the mirror going, oh, well, yeah, I've got that. I thought I had to live with that. They
I mean,
don't.
what really happens is our fat pads start to sink
Drop.
over time, and they end up down around the edges of the face or down here. And that was kind of Michelle's complaint, was down here and a little bit in here. So what I did was work on kind of knocking down some of the fat in the folds and down here in the bottom. Now that takes months to see. So when Michelle and I were talking about showing before and afters, I was like, we will not see the Agnes yet.
That's going to be a few months.
It takes time. The body has to process out the fat that we kind of broke down in that area. And so it's gonna be a minute before we get to see that on her.
So when they do the Agnes treatment, is it done more than once, or is it done once and then you see?
Usually once
Okay.
is enough. And then the other thing we did with Michelle is I actually worked to kind of pull and lift back parts of her face back. I almost want to touch her. Where we like just kind of pull back towards the ear, which gives more definition down here and makes the cheeks look more prominent. And so I can see some of that
I do.
happening. It's a little early.
No, but I
early.
do. I
And
absolutely do.
And I can see some of her jawline coming in a little bit down.
So
in the
Michelle, tell me
bottom.
this, because this is where this will actually tell, because a lot of people might be like, wait a minute. So that left picture was taken when?
It's been just a few weeks. Right before Italy. So
Yeah, it was right before I left.
And then that right picture was taken
Yesterday.
Yesterday? Okay, so in 3 weeks, to me, and this is coming from the personal trainer standpoint, and you're probably going to agree with this, Jennifer, she looks like she lost a bunch of weight.
Yes.
That's what I see.
So you
Michelle,
see-
do you not see that?
I do see that.
Okay.
In terms of the Agnes, yes, I can definitely see that around the mouth.
Well, like
already,
right around
Yeah.
the edges of your mouth, you can already see that fold is starting to dissipate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can also see a little bit how some of the lower jowls around the chin are starting to
It's
lift.
dissipating.
And you can see the definition coming in your
Yes,
cheeks a little
I see the
bit.
definition. I see the tightness in the definition for sure, because as people come to a trainer, I always say, oh, you've lost probably 5 pounds or 10 pounds. And they're like, how can you tell? It always shows in the face first. Even though everybody wants it elsewhere, it's like, oh, I can see it in your face. I see it in your face. And I know that this hasn't been this like huge weight loss in 3 weeks.
No,
So
not with all the gelato.
Exactly.
Bread I
Well,
hate.
I mean, you just came back from Italy, so there you go. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're talking about Agnes. We're talking about the ViPeel, but not just for the face. There's other aspects of the body that you can do these things for as well.
Absolutely.
You mentioned acne. I can't wait to show all these befores and afters. If you have any questions, by the way, go ahead and drop them in. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and X right now, so you can tell your friends to tune in if you have anything that you're struggling with. Again, don't go another day with thinking that you have to be frustrated with the way you're looking or the way you're feeling. This is where Jennifer and her team can step in for you at Elemental. We'll have more when we return.
We're at the Vault Luxury Resale in Brentwood, and I think this is going to be a very dangerous shoot, Diana.
It'll be
She says
fabulous.
it is.
We do costume jewelry. It's everything women want. You know, sometimes I want to grab a Kendra Scott earring or
Kendra
just a fun, untrend earring, but other times I want David Yurman, John Hardy, Tiffany. So we also have that.
Some beautiful costume jewelry, some really gorgeous high-end jewelry.
Yes. We have phenomenal cowboy boots. We have, Paige, Mother, all designer denim.
Luxury resale, not at the luxury price.
We, have every kind of high-end handbag and everything from Bottega, Louis Vuitton, tons of Gucci, Chanel. We not only deal with people in St. Louis, we deal with, a lot of people in New York, celebrities in New York, Nashville, Beverly Hills.
Monica or Ms. Adams. How's that
Yes,
sound?
that sounds great.
All right, one more designer area.
Look at these. These are Chanel, Jimmy Choo, Prada, Gucci. We have everything from Steve Madden boots to Chanel boots.
They're going to love what you come back with.
Yes.
Everyone knows about Jody's balls, and why is that?
I have the best ball.
Oh, wait.
Discover your full potential with a personalized styling experience. Designing, customizing, and transforming the looks of men and women. Revamp your individual style and embrace what makes you, you. That's real confidence.
This is my wonderful role model, one of my best friends.
She said, oh my gosh, you got a long life. You could probably live to be 130 and stuff. And I said, oh God, I hope not.
It's getting hot in here. Don't take off all your clothes.
I'm not going to take off my clothes. On the radio tape, going to
Kansas City, Kansas City, here I come. spank. We're gonna speak. We're not gonna spank anybody. We are gonna speak about knowing your value, and then I'm gonna.
I'm going to spank them.
If you don't know your value and you don't grab hold of how important you are, I'm going to spank you. Folks, you never know what you're going to get with her.
The world needs to be more positive. You know, the world, and I'm spreading positivity with my air fresheners. So,
you and I both,
yes.
sir.
Sadly, I wasn't aware of the Monica Adams show until recently, and was I missing out?
I'm definitely going to turn this on in the mornings on our TV.
She's helping people to understand their value. She's helping women to transform their lives.
From the minute that we walked in, I felt just really comfortable and at home here.
You are always a ray of sunshine and positivity.
Thank you for what you do. I love this whole thing that you're doing.
It's good news. It's great news. It's uplifting and empowering.
But you were engaged, and I love that. So thank you so much.
All right, welcome back again. It is the Real Monica Adams Show. You saw a lot there, just kind of mixed in. If you've never seen the show before, yeah, we have a lot of fun. We do a lot of heartwarming stories. You saw my mom. Somebody said yesterday, you got to get your mom back on with you. The Mom and Mon Senior Moments. And you saw the Vault, which, by the way, we will be there on November 21st. It's on our calendar already from 7 to 8:30. We're going to do another live Mobile Monica where we have models do a complete makeover. Have you been to the Vault before, by the way? It's dangerous.
I have not, but I had a client that was very involved with them for a while, and just
it's a dangerous place.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So we're going to do something cool, and I'll be dropping this in some future shows that you're getting an opportunity to possibly be chosen to be one of the models. If you've ever wanted to have a makeover, I'm going to give you that opportunity. So we'll be dropping that in coming days. Again, November 21st, mark it on the calendar at 7 a.m. All right, welcome back. We're talking about skin. We're talking about not just your face, though, other areas that you can treat with these treatments that we're talking about. Agnes, the ViPeel, a lot, though. I mean, we're going to be sprinkling a lot over the next several months about what elemental aesthetics can do. If you didn't see the first part of this show, Michelle is in with us, and she's talking about firsthand what she has gone through. We actually showed some before and after pictures. We've got others we're going to show that we'll drop in, some video of what took place that day. So a lot of people probably right away want to ask, did it hurt? Right?
No, it did not hurt. So she had initially put on a numbing cream.
Okay.
And then a nurse came in and gave me some more numbing injections around the area that she was going to work in. And I didn't feel a thing.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me that all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't feel anything.
I don't feel anything.
Which is a good thing.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, this one is, if without numbing, is pretty intense. And so we generally don't try it that way. However, with the injection, I mean, really the only part that's uncomfortable, in my opinion, after doing quite a few of these, is just when they go to inject numb. But because we numb you topically first, even the little sticks with the needle is not so bad. No.
So is it like when we go to a dentist and all of a sudden it's numbed and you're like, oh, I can feel that's how it felt to you?
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah.
So we mentioned that you can do it for the face, and you also said that it kind of stems from the background of acne. So if people, and we think about people from a hormonal aspect, you mentioned hormones, right? A hormonal aspect of the way the body is changing, that you see a little bit of acne and then a lot come out. That can really make people have such a hard time going out in public. The depression that comes with that.
Right.
You think of all of you when you were growing up. So my question is, for that particular treatment, is there a certain age where you can start doing it?
We've done very young people with this. There you go. She's a high school student. So what's cool about Agnes is for acne, it actually permanently reduces the acne.
Wow.
So the way it works is we go into the active acne spots and we are essentially like shrinking the oil gland in those areas, like Accutane. That's actually how Accutane works as well. However, Accutane has a lot of side effects on the body. Agnes does not. So we can do that same process without the negative side effects of the medication, and those results are permanent. So now she had 2. She could probably use 1 more, but if I told you over and over again when we're doing these acne pictures how every girl is smiling after.
Again, that is the first thing I noticed when that picture came up, is the change in how someone's feeling. So if her eyes were actually open on the left side, you can just see in her how embarrassed she is by that, probably how depressed she was by it. And then all of a sudden how you're truly changing their spirit, Jennifer.
Right. And so this one is really life-changing. We have done... Most of the people we've done have been younger for this, because that's where you see this really just painful, both emotionally and physically, type of acne, and it is really an amazing treatment. So that's how it was originally designed, but then they learned it would do other things like, okay, so Agnes can do under eye bags, permanent removal of under eye bags. It can do chin fat. It can do the jowls. It can do the fat around the mouth. But it also does tightening. So this one is, we do a lot of eye tightening. Actually, we marry it with the cool peel sometimes and just really improve the eyes dramatically. If somebody doesn't want to do Botox, this is a really good alternative for that. It can do, here's another acne client.
Look at how happy and glowing she is on the right picture.
They're always so happy afterwards.
Wow, her skin looks really good in that second picture.
She is really, it has been a lifetime change for her, in that now we're doing facials for radiance and not for acne. Now her home care has changed. It really changes everything.
And I bet you, so what happens with that also, I'm sure everything, when something really positive happens, it's like this trickle effect of all these other things. You start to feel like, I'm going to really take my life back. Normally there are nutrition changes, there are fitness level changes. Like, I'm taking my life back in general.
Right.
Staying with acne for a second, do you have women, which I didn't know this was a thing, but as we talk a lot about hormones, as women start to go into perimenopause and menopause, etc., that they have acne later on in life. Do they come in for that?
I'll say actually the time frame we see a lot is more around 35 to 38, like around the time of before and after babies and shifts that start happening in there. We do see sometimes, I actually never had acne until my mid-30s, and then I had acne.
Interesting.
And so, yes, not necessarily will we do Agnes for that in those situations, but we might, we have facials and home care. And, fun fact, oral zinc is amazing on acne. So if you are someone that fights acne, if you can get yourself to take, the ideal is around 50 milligrams of oral zinc. I would take it with food, because sometimes that can upset your stomach. I can't tell you how many times that has corrected hormonal acne in women.
Wow.
And so there's a free tip that you can try if that's something that you are fighting.
I love it.
And makes
Thank
a
you
big
for the
difference.
free tip. I love that. Look, we're going to mix all those in. Can I go back to that slide that we just showed? Because that one was pretty powerful.
So yeah, eyes is a big area that we treat with Agnes. So she had a little bit of a bag. We were treating the bag. We were also treating the tightening. We did some other things on her too. I'm sure you can see,
So does she have acne or rosacea or a mixture of a lot of things going on?
a little bit of rosacea.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Again.
So, but we were focusing there on eyes with, in this particular picture, we were trying to focus on her eyes.
But when you come in, and that's exactly what happens when you go into Elemental Aesthetics and you have no idea where do I even begin. It's like if you go online, and you can schedule your online consultation, or you can actually schedule your treatment that you want. But once you are in there, it gives her an opportunity to say, okay, here are some things that I see, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can ask them what they're struggling with, but then you might be able to bring an awareness of, I don't know if you know that this is going on. We actually can do something with this.
With the face veins, a lot of people don't know that those can be fixed.
Yep.
They just don't know. Or even if it's just broken capillaries around the nose, which is very common, a lot of people don't know that this can be fixed. Dermaplaning, a lot of people don't know they don't have to have hair all over their face. So, it's amazing how just sitting down, having the consultation, and because we're lucky and blessed to have all the tools that we do have, we have so many ways that we can attack things.
Let's address this, and this can be women and men across the board. I think the first time someone comes in and does anything, but especially when they are told about hair, I think there's a side of them that are like, oh no, they're going to judge me. I've heard this before.
Oh my gosh, no.
Thank you. I've heard from women that are like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. They're pulling hair off of my face. It is a natural occurring process,
we
folks.
are literally there to make you feel better. We are not laying in judgment at you at all for any of these issues. We know a lot of them are systemic and caused by things that have nothing to do with you or the choices that you make. And so we are not going to be a place of judgment. I do think there are spas that maybe there is an element of that, and I think it's given it a bad name, but we are like regular people working on regular people.
Yes, I love that. You should actually use that as your slogan. Elemental Aesthetics, once again, in Creve Coeur. If you want to go right now and start to look at the services that they have and think, wow, this has been a wake-up call for me, right? ElementalAesthetics.com, 314-279-6069. Besides the face, do people come in? Because if we're talking about acne, would you use that also for chest and back acne?
No, we might use the ViPeel, actually.
Okay.
The ViPeel works great on body acne. Also, the zinc works great on body acne. So the oral zinc is another place. But the ViPeel works on discoloration on the body, on the chest. We can do legs. Like a lot of women, if you've had sun exposure, you get really kind of wild looking legs, and it can really clear that up. We can also use the IPL for these areas as well, just so you know. But we do have really good success with the ViPeel. And on the body, where Michelle had to peel on her face, on the body, it's just flakes and dry. It's not a big production. It's actually really easy to manage the process. We've done a lot of men actually for pigmentation, and especially in the shoulders and the back or the back of the neck, where you can see that distinct line from their hairline to the back of their neck.
Right.
We can kind of blend that out and just kind of make that look more even. We have a guy that we did, tons of construction over his lifetime, and so much discoloration. There was no way we could come in with the IPL because there was just too much happening there. And we did a few ViPeels, and it was dramatically better.
Jennifer, you just mentioned guys, and I had a guy, and I'm glad that you just triggered this in my mind, that wrote last week and said, can you ask Jennifer about, as we get older, why do I suddenly see these little white skin pigmentation, probably from sun or whatever, pop up, and I guess that's just something I have to deal with. What is that, and what would you do for it?
So it's called hypopigmentation. It is from damage, and there is not a fix for it. But what we can do is lighten the rest of the pigmentation around it so it's less apparent. So by using something like ViPeel or IPL, we can now even out the whole area so that the areas where it is white is less apparent.
Interesting.
They're kind of blended out then.
So if that just kind of pops up, you can even it out, but it's not ever going to go completely away because that's from damage to the sun.
That's right. You've removed the pigment there. So now there's not really a way to return it back to its...
And what this all pulls in together about how important it is to take care of your skin. Things that you did to yourself when you were younger start to appear as we get older, and you're like, what did I do? You put aluminum foil around you and pulled it inward.
Baby oil all over you.
Iodine.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, everything.
We're idiots.
And historically, when we're seeing somebody that hasn't done anything for pigment, we are looking at 20 years of discoloration. We are looking at 20 years of damage. Yep. And that's important to keep in mind because where Michelle looks better from her one ViPeel, what she probably needs is a second one. Because generally speaking, or something else, we can look at some other things too.
Sure.
Generally speaking, it takes more than one time to reverse pigmentation. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so we do have some pictures and video, thank you, Zach, of what took place that day. I mean, again, I'm telling you, I can see it in your face, the tightening and the change by far from just a few weeks ago. So this was the day that Michelle came in and said, I think I'm just going to have a facial. And she's like, nope, I'm going to go all in. So we're going to go back to this because people who didn't get a chance to hear in the beginning, Michelle went in for a facial to Elemental Aesthetics. She did the ViPeel that we're talking about, but she also did the Agnes treatment. And the Agnes one, you say pretty much is usually just one time, but she'll see the long-term effects of this over the next few months.
Yes.
So talk a little bit again what you did here.
So this machine is cool. For me, this is like she was laughing at me. She's like, "You're really enjoying this." But
You're having too much fun with my face.
The reality is it's as a person, it's like I'm sculpting her. We use the tool to kind of lift and tighten and so right here, I'm trying to get into that little fat pocket that's under her chin, and I'm going after and attacking the fat in there and just trying to destroy it so that it doesn't have that weight pulling down in that part of her face anymore.
Yeah.
And the fat removal is permanent. So when we're talking about one time, the reason you get longevity out of it is you're not going to get fat again in that spot. She's probably not going to have that continued slide where she has to do this again. The skin tightening is sometimes something we can repeat. If people, have a lot of jowls or a lot of things hanging, then we might end up doing that more than once.
Because that was the discussion we had 2 weeks ago, and I know somebody in particular that I believe reached out to you already, and she's like, that is the thing that's always bothered me. And we talked about the genetic aspect of it all, right? Somebody could be, I know a girl I went to school with, and no matter what, she was tinier, but no matter what, she always had what her mom had. She could see, looking at her mom or looking at her grandma, she's like, I'm not going to have the sculpting here, I'm just going to have this. And she's like, and it bugs me. And again, you hear those things, and it's disheartening.
So if it's fat, we can go in and use Agnes to remove fat through the chin area. If it's skin, so there's an example. That's just a single treatment, and you can see how, but even her jawline is starting to come in better there just from removing that weight of what's right there. But sometimes it's skin, sometimes it's a combination. So it just depends. If someone has a lot going on, it's going to be more than one time.
Wow, look at that one. That's 4 months after.
Yeah, we're not going to immediately in one treatment usually. Yeah, see, this is the third. This one they had 3 treatments for that. So, it just depends how much is happening there. For Michelle, it was just a little. We're tweaking. We're not renovating. We're just kind of sculpting her.
Freezing me in time.
We're lifting,
Isn't that a Mel Gibson movie? I think so. So what would you tell people, Michelle, after going through this? And I guess I will ask this because I've known her since 2009 or 10, and had never heard her say that, this bugged me. I was like, oh, see, you don't know. People are either, one, suffering in silence, don't feel like talking about it, or embarrassed to talk about it, or they just see things that we don't see. I didn't see it in you, but how long had it been bugging you?
For a while, and probably because I was around my mother and I was seeing what's coming. I'm like, oh no,
I have that.
It's coming.
My mom also lots of sun exposure, very fair. Grew up in Los Angeles, and it really did a lot of damage for pigmentation and then jowls, and I'm very sensitive to that too.
Yeah. Well, some people, their face just gets really sunken in,
right,
and then some people sag,
right,
and I could see that that's the direction that I was going in. And then seeing my mom, we have very similar facial structures. Unfortunately, she can't do facials. Her skin is ultra sensitive. Mine is not, as you know.
Yeah,
pretty much do anything to me.
Yeah, she was like, you can do whatever to me. Nothing's going to happen.
But knowing that there was an option, and a very easy option too. It did not take long at all. The ViPeel, now you sent me home with products,
right?
So I could continue.
Yeah, with that
it was
one,
like
you
4
had
days.
homework.
Yes, I did. I had
you
homework.
Had homework.
Yes. So I had the
Were you a
sheets
good student?
I was very diligent about it, but it was interesting because we had to kind of figure out how to do
the peel
and the Agnes after
together.
treatment.
Yeah.
Because there's certain timing on things. That was a little more complicated for us to figure out.
Did you peel a lot or a little from the ViPeel?
I peeled a lot.
Okay.
So when you and I had talked, you had messaged me asking me how I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
And then you asked how the peeling was going. There was a little bit of flaking around here, not major, but then it was probably the 3rd day. Then it really started to slough off. But you could still wear makeup, but it just, a lot of the
be-
makeup was
makeup's gotta
kind
come
of,
off.
yeah, it's kind of coming off a little bit. So
this is
fortunately,
why
I
it's
wasn't-
good to have some downtime if you can.
Yeah. I wasn't going
For that
anywhere for
one.
the weekend.
And we'll always prepare you. Like with her, I was like, okay, do you want to do this? What's going on this weekend?
Right.
Can this happen for you?
I think
You
day 2,
know,
I had a wine dinner to go to, and I was fine.
Probably looked fine.
It was fine. And then it was day 3, more 4.
3, 4, 5 is usually where you
was
peel.
really, really just coming off and just peels and peels
Like a
and
snake.
peels. It was awesome. It was so great. I was like, oh, look at this youthful skin
Yeah, see?
underneath. That's
Right,
amazing.
it's the sloughing off of that, and then suddenly it's
But
like
there were
this
different.
glow.
There were different serums that you had given me, and then there were the sheets that had the peel.
Yeah, so like the
Compound
peel
in it
has
and-
like these wipes that you have to use in the process at certain parts of the process. It's cool though, they have an app where you can just scan and the app will just tell you what to do, which is amazing. And you can also take pictures of your progress in the app, which is kind of fun too.
Sure.
So that company has really figured out the process in a cool way. And I love the ViPeel if your skin is darker. If you're darker skinned, it is one of the best solutions for discoloration. It's one of the safest ways to address it. So we do have a lot of clients that are up in the darker skin categories, and they do so well with ViPeel. We have a big following for that.
Okay.
So that really has a cool place. And for acne also. That one also works on acne.
And again, why we keep saying that it's not just a cookie cutter, one size fits all. There you go. There's a good example of that. So something for everyone. I'm going to take one final quick break. We're going to actually just tie this all in together. I'm interested to see what men mainly come there for, because some guys have been asking, well, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. Sometimes a woman has to like guide them in, but if you are solo, you don't have a wife or a girlfriend or a mom or a sister to say, hey, why don't you come along and do this? But we want you to start doing more of that self-care. I really love the turn that we've seen in the last decade, because years before that, no way. Guys are like, I'm not doing that. That's girly. It's not anymore. Now you understand what we've been doing for ourselves.
It's so funny though, because in the 50s, men got manicures and
They did?
Yes.
Oh.
Wealthy men got manicures.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, and facials, and there was an element of that.
And so it went
kind of
away.
Went away,
And now it's a
It
resurgence.
is starting to come back. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to find out what guys are doing. What are you feeling, ladies? Do you feel shame? 100 Days to Freedom from Shame? For some reason, that one's jumping out at me. Yeah. Because I think people have shame about, oh, this, I look like this, I look like that. And then finally you have this freedom from it, right? Freedom that Jennifer can give you at Elemental Aesthetics. More with Jennifer and Michelle when we return.
Monica show. It's very informational, but more importantly, inspirational.
People such as myself and others can come out and talk about real issues that are taking place in our communities.
These are amazing, really, really important topics that don't get discussed enough.
It really just promotes people who are making change and doing good in their lives.
Welcome back, 7:58, and if you're just tuning in, you're actually at the end of the show within the next maybe 5 or 10 minutes, so go back and watch the beginning of it. Again, getting a first-hand testimonial from Michelle about Agnes and the ViPeel, and then we were showing some pictures for people who have acne and other issues that they've seen with their skin, whether facially, chest, back, arms, legs, all these things that you do not have to live with. Again, we've been visiting with Jennifer Warmann-Bloss. Jennifer is the owner of Elemental Aesthetics, and Michelle Harman. So we've got some pictures as we do this recap of everything we've been discussing. I want to show you more and more pictures and a video. So let's talk about this particular picture. This is pretty significant.
This is kind of where I think Michelle's going to end up. So that's what we're trying to get to, where she felt like she had the little downturn and then the folds. and just the softening of all of that. You can see how even the lips start to turn up a little bit.
Absolutely.
And so that was the end goal for Michelle as well. And that'll still be a few weeks away for us to do
And
that.
we also have that video that we were talking about that Jennifer did with Michelle. We want to show that. So there is what was actually taking place.
Yeah.
And see, there's a lot of times people, Jennifer, that I think they have to go through actual surgeries. They didn't realize that all this technology is out there and people have been afraid of being cut on. They're not now.
Well, when I first learned about Agnes and I first saw the results that people were getting from this, I was like, surgeons, look out. Because
yes,
we can do a lot to pull back the face and help with mid-face. Under eye bags is a huge one. Getting rid of under eye bags has been notoriously difficult, but we can do that now. We actually had an eye surgeon come in and do some training with us, and he was telling us what we do with Agnes for under eye bags is what they do in surgery.
Sure.
We're basically going in and shrinking the fat pad underneath the eye.
And there you go. There's some good examples. You can just see how deep inset where her laugh lines are in that before one. And then just after one treatment on the right. 6 weeks post there on the left after a second treatment. And again, all ages. As we go through and look at these pictures, I mentioned when we went into the break that I'm intrigued by when men are calling or someone's maybe making the call for them. What are they mainly coming in for?
So a lot of times age spots is a big one, especially if they're bald all over the top of the head. Oh, yeah. The VI peel on the man's scalp is awesome. You can't really laser there because it takes whatever hair might be still there off, but you can do a VI peel for age spots on the head. Same on the face or the body. We do have a lot of men come for Botox. We have men come for Botox for crow's feet or other areas. We have tons of men that come for the M-Sculpt. So that was what we talked about last time, which is abs and strength, and it helps remove fat. And we do have a really good following of men that come for that. We have a lot of men that come for laser hair removal.
Sure.
So chest, back, commonly, for men, back of the neck, those kinds of things. So.
And we're going to be bringing her in now that she's not scared of me anymore. Tabitha. We're going to tell that story if you didn't hear the story. Tabitha's going to be coming in with us. So she is one of the nurses that Jennifer has at Elemental Aesthetics. And so she's the one that does a lot of the weight loss consultation as well as hormones. So men coming in for testosterone as well.
Yes.
And not going to these clinics where they just jack you up on testosterone, which is not a good thing for you, by the way. She is so good in her consultations.
Yeah, because that could actually make your hair fall out.
Exactly.
They give you too much testosterone.
Yep. Oh, right.
Yeah.
So it's going to work against you in other arenas.
Wow.
So yes, they do that as well. We showed you a lot of the things that they can do, but there's so much more that we're going to discuss. Before we wrap up, Sindra said, because she just went in, good morning, book your appointment with Jennifer. Great experience yesterday. Treat yourself.
Aww,
there you go.
She was so lovely. I mean, it was great working with her, and, it was just a good experience. You attract good souls.
I do. I'm very blessed in that. And again, she did if you didn't see it, I highly recommend that you watch yesterday's show because she was able to make an appearance and do a firsthand testimonial of literally, she sent me a text and said, Monica, I don't think you understand that your show is saving lives. So it was something that we had on a Medical Monday show that we showed in past damage from the sun. And she went and had it done and actually had to have surgery. But she had surgery and didn't let it go because, again, it's a dangerous thing of what can happen from that. So, yes. And one of the things that Jennifer actually asked me was to pass along Dr. Sarah Jensen's information because there's a lot of collaboration that can take place there between two wonderful souls.
Yeah.
And I love that. Love what you're doing. Okay, so I said shame. I'm feeling the shame aspect. We want to bring you freedom from shame. And then we're going to wrap up and tell you again about how you can get a hold of Jennifer and her staff, make the appointment for you, just like Michelle and so many others have done already. For some of you that aren't going to pull the trigger, maybe somebody else has to do it for you. Wounds. Okay. Oh, Lord, if you heal me, I will be truly healed. She's the healer today. Jeremiah 17, verse 14. If you've done much fishing, you know it's not unusual to catch a fish that has wounds and scars. Sometimes they're so beaten up, it's hard to imagine what happened or how they survived. Life underwater, it's not easy. And a lot of you feel like you actually are underwater. A lot of you feel like you're drowning, and how do you get out of that? Life above water, though, it's not so easy either. We coined the term walking wounded to refer to people who make their way through life battered, beaten, and scarred. Sometimes it seems there's no one in the world who isn't walking around wounded, even though you can look at people and think they have no problems going on. You don't know what's going on the inside. Few people would argue that the worst wounds are self-inflicted. If someone else attacks and hurts me, I can process that by understanding that there are bad people in the world. But when my wound is self-inflicted, I have some much deeper and more complicated issues to deal with. Basically, the difference between looking out a window and looking in a mirror. Give me a window any day over a mirror. Looking in a mirror, we just said this earlier, is always hard. The good news is that God can heal all our wounds, self-inflicted and otherwise, but it doesn't mean you won't have any lingering effects. Healing's not the same as removing the consequences of your sin. You may have to live with some of the results of what you've done the rest of your life, but at least you can be freed from the guilt and the shame, which will enable you to move on with your life with joy in your heart and be a witness to others. Liz Curtis Higgs says, "Those aren't warts, beloved, just a little scar tissue from wounds that God has healed." I like that. Today's prayer: Dear Father, I know there's nothing to be gained by pretending I don't hurt. Help me to bring my wounds to you for the healing that only you can give. And then there's like this perfect marriage between God and Jennifer, because then she heals these other wounds that you see and scars that you want to get rid of. See how we did that there?
There we go.
There we go. Elemental Aesthetics. Let's bring everything you need to know up on the screen. You can call 314-279-6069. The address again is Suite 206, 425 North New Ballas Road in Creve Coeur, or go online to elementalaesthetics.com. And again, don't wait one more day. Do this for yourself, as Sandra and so many else have said. Michelle just said, do it. Do it. Or for those of you that want to book it for someone else, just get them a gift certificate and say, hey, go, or go along with them. Like there's a lot of girls that said, maybe we'll make a girls' day out or a couple's day out and have something done. We mentioned they do IV hydration therapy and so much more. So do it, just do it.
Great holiday gift.
Yes,
too.
I agree. Absolutely. All right. We said it at the beginning, and as we wrap up, tickets are on sale. They went on sale about an hour ago to come to the Feel the Authenticity workshop. Again, go ahead and show your natural self. How do you do that? I'm going to walk you through that. The triangle of life that I'm so big on. There's the workshop information. Sunday, December 8th. Tickets are on sale right now, and only 25 people can come. We're talking food, we're talking drinks, we're talking an extremely powerful 2 hours to take you through the holidays, get you into the new year in the best place you've ever been in your life. I'm guaranteeing that, okay? It's a lot that I'm putting on that day, but I'm trusting myself and you together that we'll work together to do this.
And
December 8th, 1 to 3.
Discounts on shopping, too.
Oh, yeah, 10% off of everything in the store except for those original art pieces that we showed you when we did the live show that day. So, and there's a lot. There's so much that she has there. I may have done a lot of spending. I did, and I'm happy, but I got a lot of gifts actually already for Christmas. So come on out and join us. Have a good time. 25 people. Those tickets I expect to go pretty fast. All right, everybody? Thank you for coming in. We'll see you and hopefully Tabitha in very soon. Tabitha, don't be scared. Michelle, thank you for telling your firsthand story and being real and showing those before and after pictures. And we'll continue to check in with Michelle over the next couple of months as you go into the holidays. I'm sure people will be seeing you for the holidays going, what is it that you've done? You just look amazing, even higher than we've seen you before. That's it. It's that, wow, you've beautified just this natural side of yourself. All right, everybody, I hope you have a beautiful day. Tomorrow, Positive Talk Time, wrapping up in an incredible gala where we more than doubled what they raised last year. We're going to talk about some new doggies that they were able to bring in because of the generosity of the community. And then speaking of dogs, the Uber dog. Kevin Furman joins me on Friday. If you haven't seen this guy on Instagram, you need to do so. He's an Uber. When he comes to pick you up, there's a dog in the front seat that everyone loves. Maybe you've seen it already. If not, what you're going to love is he actually has a tie to St. Louis that I didn't know about, but he was born in Chesterfield, Missouri. And what he's doing with some of the money that he makes being an Uber driver, that's the really cool thing of what he wants to do to change lives. So super cool week that we have on tap for you still. Thank you all so much. Spread the word about this show. Share today's show as far and wide as you possibly can do, and do what we always ask you to do. We'll see if these ladies can finish the sentence. Go out, be anything you want to be in the world, but before you're anything,
just be kind.
God bless you all.